If you're listening to this and you are either newly single, single for a while, or long-term single, this episode is for you. Today, I'm going to be talking about all the things I've learnt being single. And I have been single for nearly a year now, guys. This is a big deal, okay? Because I have been a serial monogamist for the last 5 years now. It's 2025. So 2020, 2019, I was kind of just jumping from relationship to relationship. And this is the longest time I have been single in 5 years. Because before that, I was at school and I never dated at school. So in my dating adult life, this is the longest I've been single since I was basically 18. I honestly have learned so much in this last, I don't know, 10 months, nearly 11 months now of singlehood. And oh my God, it's been a roller coaster, okay? But I'm going to start with my quote of the week, as said by Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City. And I am also binge watching Sex and the City right now. And if you are not watching Sex and the City and you're single, it's going to make you want to be single so much that you are just not going to want to be in a relationship when you watch Sex and the City, because it just highlights the fun, the sexy, the crazy, the messy of being single. And just go watch Sex and the City. This is like, I'm on season 4 now and I'm obsessed. Anyway, Carrie says on Sex and the City, being single used to mean that nobody wanted you. Now it means you're pretty sexy and you're taking your time deciding how you want your life to be and who you want to spend it with. And I could not agree more.
If you love me, let me fly away. Maybe I'll come back to you. Maybe I won't.
Obviously, I'm in my mid-20s. I'm 26 now. I had my birthday last week. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, I'm a Capricorn queen. If you're a Capricorn, slay. But I don't know, as we get older, especially as women, the pressure builds. And I don't want to say this, obviously, as a 26-year-old, because probably like a 35-year-old or 38 or whatever is gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about, Chiara, you idiot? Like, you're so young. Stop stressing. And they're right, I'm not stressing anymore. But I think in the back of your head, society is like, oh, the classic is like, you need to settle down by 26, get married at 27. At least that's what I wanted when I was 18. I was like, oh, I'm going to get married at 27. I'm like, that's in a year. Like, I am in no way at all ready to sacrifice my life right now for mediocrity or to settle for anything less than, well, my soulmate or the love of my life. I do believe in soulmates, but I'm going to keep being that hopeless romantic deep down, even though society tells you there's no such thing as like a soulmate because, we're all animals and whatever. But anyway, going back to the things that I've learned being single is, number one, it gets really shit before it gets better. Like, it gets really scary and really dark and really messy before you actually start getting comfortable with being single. I would say I only started getting comfortable with being single probably in September last year. So that was 6 months after breaking up with my ex. Okay. So 6 months after my breakup was the first time I actually started feeling comfortable with being single. Before that, I was really kind of wanting to not jump straight into something else, but I guess the kind of rebound phase of like trying to get someone else to fill that void in my heart and someone else to like, feel the loneliness that I was feeling. And also, I felt really depressed like last year. I was really low and really sad and just, yeah, I went through a really, really hard, dark period. And I don't want to scare you or anything if you are newly single, but you are going to go through something like that before you come through the other side of actually, I really enjoy being single, unless you didn't really like the person that you were with, or you actually love being single. But on the most part, I do feel like, especially nowadays, we do tend to like want someone around to kind of fill some sort of void in our heart that we're not filling with our own love, which is what I've also discovered being single. But yeah, so it went really bad after me and my ex broke up. I guess I was just kind of avoiding myself. And then I finally had to confront myself and confront being alone. And that was really challenging, especially during summer last year. I was just like wanting to like, get with guys or like go on dates and like, I wasn't ready because I was still healing from a breakup, but yeah, it just was really, really difficult. But however, in September last year, things started to get better and I kind of came out to the other side. And the way that I did that was through therapy. So I have a life coach every single week. And during the really rough time, like around May, June, July, which was like the worst time, I was having her twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, I definitely recommend therapy. I think it really helps to deal with like the cause behind why you constantly want to be in a relationship. If you are a serial monogamist and you like being in relationships, do you actually like being in relationships, or are you just avoiding the relationship with yourself? I know that's really deep, but it's true. I was avoiding the relationship with myself. I was avoiding spending time on my own and being alone with my thoughts and being in my own company. Now, looking back, and sitting right here, right now, I feel like I am the happiest I have been in a really long time. And a big part of that has to do with the fact that I'm single and I don't have to be responsible for anyone's feelings. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to report back to anyone. I can just do whatever I want, And when you're in a relationship, it is a responsibility and it is work, and you have to think about someone else. Whereas right now, I only have to think about myself. And I think that is something that is so amazing and beautiful, that I just have to look after myself. Another thing I learned from being single for nearly a year is it's not that scary. I think everyone, especially women, we have this fear of being alone. And we have this fear of, oh my God, like the worst thing that could ever happen to you is to be alone. Like that's the scariest thing ever. And again, I was watching Sex and the City and just feeling it's such a comfort show for me because all the girls are single. They're all kind of like navigating the dating world of New York. And it's like, it's scary sometimes, they're all saying, oh, when am I going to meet my soulmate? When am I going to meet my soulmate? And, instead of just enjoying being on their own, although it was really, really fun to date, I think for me, a big challenge was not dating. Just don't date and just be on your own. So yeah, it's scary, and it was scary, but very fun fact is that it doesn't get scary anymore. Like when you really move past that initial like fear of like, oh my God, I'm really scared. And that's a lot of the reason why people don't break up, is because they're scared of being alone. It was my reason of not breaking up with a few of my exes because, unfortunately, and I'm going to be really honest, I wasn't in love with most of them. I've only been in love once. That was with my first love. This was back in 2020. That was 5 years ago. That's the last time I was in love. And whether that was real love or if it was like toxic attachment, I don't know. But that is, I would say, the strongest I've ever felt for someone. And I haven't felt like that since. Yeah, a lot of the reasons why I never left relationships that weren't really serving me was because of that fear of being alone. But then when you get through that and you realize actually being alone is, unless you're in the right relationship, is the best thing ever. Like being alone and being single, right? I'm so much happier now than I was in most of my relationships, which is like kind of crazy to say because I have dated quite a bit in the last 6 years or 7 years. I am like so much happier. And if you are struggling right now and you've just been through a breakup, or you're single and you're waiting for someone to come along, another tip I would give you is stop waiting around for someone to come around, because the more you wait and like sit in this waiting room of like, oh, when is someone going to claim me? That's not the mentality you should be having, because then you just are basically wasting your singleness or your time being single, when this is actually probably the funnest time. Like, you can go clubbing, you can kiss whoever you want, you can go traveling and have new experiences and not worry about someone back at home and having to text them all the time. It's like, I go to sleep at night, I wake up every morning and I don't have to check in on anyone except maybe my mom and my dad and my best friends. But like, another thing about being single that I learned is that I have gotten so much close to my friends. I've gotten so much close to my family as well, because when you're in a relationship, being in a relationship takes up time and it takes up energy. So when you're not in a relationship and you are single, you use that time to get closer to your friends or to make new friends or to get closer to your family. You know, if you have a good relationship with your family or with your siblings. I have such amazing friends around me now, and I'm so grateful. And I don't think I would have the relationship that I do with them if I was in a relationship. If I was in a relationship right now, I would not be hanging out with my friends as much. I mean, that's just a fact. You know, you only have so much time on your hands. And when you're in a relationship, you just want to spend time with your boyfriend, or like at least a good amount of time, you know? You can't just ignore them for like ages, you know? They are human and they have feelings, you know?
We're just going to take a pause there and we'll be back after this break.
My mental health is so much better. Another thing about being single. I am not concerned about some dusty man, if he's going to message me back or if he's going to reply to my stories, or like, just that anxiety is like, I don't know. I guess you have that anxiety when you're single actually more than when you're in a relationship. But when I'm saying I'm single, I mean, I am single, as in I'm not in a situationship with anyone. I'm not like waiting for anyone's text back. Like, I've just not been dating as much as I thought I would. And I know that's crazy, you guys, because you think I'm queen of dating, but I haven't been on any dates. Online dates, that is. I've been on dates, but I've not been on online dating app dates. Obviously, I've had the app and I've like spoken to people, but I just haven't had the courage yet to actually go on an actual date since me and my ex broke up. So I thought I would, but again, another lesson that I've learned from being single for nearly a year is I don't know if I actually want to go on dates right now. I thought I was going to want to, but I've decided. I actually read this book called Buy Yourself the Damn Flowers by Tam Kaur. She's like a YouTuber, TikToker, and she's really cool. She talks about how she is solo dating and she's not dating. And reading that book, it actually inspired me that I am in a phase right now of my life where I don't want to go on dates with people. I actually want to start dating myself. And that means not going on actual dates, but dating myself, meaning doing things for myself, which I know are going to make me happy. Like, I'm just making more time for myself, as in I'm saying no to social things I don't want to do, work things I don't want to do. I booked myself in for more massages than I usually would. I love a massage. I actually just had one yesterday and honestly, amazing. I've also booked my first solo date to go to the theater. I'm going this Friday. I'm going to the Moulin Rouge and I'm going on my own. And I'm doing things, I mean, she says in the book, like, do more things that are out of your comfort zone so that you enjoy your own company more. And honestly, me last year, I was actually in a relationship. So coming from being in a relationship last year to now taking myself on solo dates, like, I have literally done a 360. Like, I could not have even imagined taking myself out on a date. I would have wanted to go with a friend or with my mom or with a guy to the theater, but I'm doing more things now out of my comfort zone, like going to the theater on my own. And I'm actually so excited to go on my own to the theatre. Is that really bad that I would rather go to the theatre on my own than go with a date? I don't get nervous. I don't have the first date jitters. I don't have to stress about food in my teeth. I don't have to worry about conversation, about oversharing, about getting to know a random stranger and then probably never seeing them again. Like, I just, I'm in an era where I just can't be bothered to make the effort to meet someone new. And as in, go out of my way to meet someone new, as in, go out of my way to go on a date with someone. Obviously, I've met people. I was just in Brazil for the last month over Christmas and New Year's. And of course, I met people there. And naturally, I met someone out there that I really liked. Obviously, he lives in Brazil and I live here. But that was just very natural. It wasn't like I went out of my way to make the effort to date. I'm just very much in my era of really loving myself. And I really, really suggest that if you are single and listening to this right now, please stick around and stick to being single until you get to this point of your singleness. Because if you're single right now and you're craving going on dates with other people and you haven't done the dirty work of looking at yourself and your flaws, not just your flaws, but getting to a point where you really enjoy your own company, then start dating. That's what I would suggest, at least. Like, before I would be like, yeah, go and date. And even to myself, like, go and date, go meet new people, go meet new guys. But I don't think I'd really done the work to enjoy my own company before going on those dates. Only really now getting to the point of wanting to date myself and actually wanting to spend more time on my own. Like, I'm going again, I think I'm really going through like an intense, I just want to be alone time. I'm going to the spa like on Sunday on my own. Again, I could go with my friends, but I'm really trying to do things out of my comfort zone that I usually would do with other people, but on my own, so that I can get to a point where I'm so comfortable with myself and I love myself so much that I've raised my standards because I treat myself like such a princess that anyone who comes in would have to give me the same, if not better treatment than I already give myself. So really stick to being single until you get to this point, until you go out on those solo dates, until you do things on your own, which you usually would want to do with someone else or want to do with a guy, but try and do it on your own. That's what I've learned very, very recently being single. But it's like such a roller coaster. Being single is such a roller coaster, especially coming out of a phase of being constantly in relationships. I was basically in a big fat long-term relationship for the last 5 years. And I'm only now really learning about what it's like to really be alone. But I'm not alone. And I've actually feel more fulfilled and more happy single now than I did in some of my relationships. In some of my relationships, I felt more alone than I do now. And I think there's this whole idea that, it's so scary being on your own. It's so scary being single. Like, I don't want to be single. Like, and I had those phases where I'm just going to wait for my Prince Charming to come around. Like, I'm just like, I want to wait, for that Prince Charming, but honey, that Prince Charming ain't coming until you become a princess, because a Prince Charming isn't going to want like just a girl who's chasing for validation. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not perfect. I still go out in the club and I still want that validation, or I go out to the bar and I still want someone to look at me and want someone to want me, but less so now than before, if that makes sense. Because like the void in my heart is slowly getting filled by myself. And I hope that you can also get to this point. And I'm not saying I'm there yet. It's nowhere near there yet, because sometimes I go to sleep at night hoping and wishing for that perfect soulmate. Don't we all? Like, let's be real. I'm not my own martyr. I'm not going to save myself. I'm not, I want someone to love me, and I do want to meet the love of my life, and I do want to, have a husband and kids, and that is really what I want. But I'm not going to sit around in a waiting room until that date comes. I want to really enjoy being single because who knows how long. It's actually a privilege to be single because you just don't know how long you're going to have it for. Like, you could meet the love of your life tomorrow. You could meet the love of your life in 5 years, in 10 years. You just don't know. And that's the beauty of not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow. So if you're single and watching this, enjoy it as much as possible because one day you are going to be in a relationship and you're probably, when you're in a relationship, going to wish you enjoyed being single more. At least everyone who's in a relationship tells me, even my married friends tell me, God, I wish I enjoyed being single more. And I'm like, damn, really? But now I get it. I love being single. Like, I actually don't want to be in a relationship unless this person really is going to add value to my life. Like, I just don't want it. I can't be bothered for the effort. I don't want to be responsible for anyone else's feelings. I also don't want to hurt anyone else's feelings because being in a relationship, you are at risk of hurting someone else by fucking up or making mistakes, which we all do when we're in relationships. I don't have to do any of that because I'm single and I can go out, I can go traveling, I can kiss whoever I want, I can do whatever I want, I can go on loads of dates if I want to. I don't have to go on any dates if I don't want to. It's my choice. That's so freaking cool. And I don't know, I've just gotten to a point where I really feel fulfilled. And I think I'm going to feel even more fulfilled by doing more self-love activities, like going on self-dates, going on solo dates. Like, yeah, try and read the book, Buy Yourself the Damn Flowers. I'm not even being paid to say this. It just like really genuinely helped me. And there's actually a checklist in the book, which has solo date ideas, which I have actually been checking off. Because there are some really good ideas in there, like go to an aquarium on your own, go to a flower market on your own and buy yourself flowers, go set up a picnic date for yourself. Like, don't wait for someone to do that with. Go and do it. Why wait? Do it yourself. And then when that guy does come along or that girl does come along, then they're going to have to up one you because you're already treating yourself so well. But yeah, those are all the lessons I've learned in nearly a year of being single. And I honestly couldn't be happier. Like, I never thought I'd get to this day. I thought the only way I could feel like this, the way I do right now, was if I was in a relationship. Because that is what's going to fulfill me. But it's not true. Only you can fulfill yourself. Even when you are in a relationship, only you can make yourself happy. You shouldn't be searching outside yourself for happiness because as cringe as it is, like, happiness really does come from within. I hope that some of this helped you and gives you hope that if you're feeling a bit shitty about being single and you want to be in a relationship, oh my God, being single is a privilege. And even if I do see someone, just to finish this off, even if I do see someone and I date someone for a bit, like for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you know, like I saw this guy in Brazil, you know, you have barriers. And if they live in Brazil and you live in London, I'm not willing to make the sacrifice right now to do long distance. And I promised myself I'm not going to do long distance anymore. So you just got to have to enjoy moments and experiences with people, but not get attached to those people or experiences unless you really, really think it's worth it. And they add so much to your life that you're like, okay, this is worth it. And I'm going to move countries with them, or I'm going to change something in my life to make that relationship work. But right now I'm in a point in my life where I'm so fulfilled with where I'm at right now that, yeah, I'm enjoying being single. Right now I choose myself, and I hope you choose yourself too. Everything else will fall in place. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you liked it, please share it on your stories or socials, share it with your friends if you think that they would really benefit from listening to this episode. They're going through a hard time, through a breakup, or they're not enjoying being single. Tell them that it is really fun, I promise. It just takes time to enjoy your own company. And I'll see you in next week's episode on King of Hearts. I love you. Bye.
Maybe I won't.